What up, y'all? In this video, I want to talk about what you should do when you see your crush. Or it's not exactly what you do, but what to do, but I'm gonna give you the framework. Because I've obviously, been in many situations where, I'm sure you have, where you see your crush either every day, the woman you like, or once a week or whatever. And I'm gonna tell you to do these 4 things, right? And it will make you so much more socially aware. I promise you. Just watch this video to the end. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna ask yourself, when you show up on that day, what is the current energy between you guys, right? Have you talked too much? Was the last conversation a little bit more dull, or was it really exciting? Did you compliment her on the last time you saw her? Did you ask her out on the last time you saw her? So you got to know the energy, right? That's the first thing, and that's going to decide your energy level, because sometimes you have to balance things out. Sometimes you have to pull back. If she was pulling back, being less energetic the last time you saw her, then this next time you see her, you got to pull back, right? If things were really good last time, then maybe you can keep that vibe going. Or maybe you were a little bit too excited and you were a little bit too funny last time you saw her, so now you're gonna cool it down and maybe be a little bit more stoic. But that's all up to you and what you feel is right? There's not really any necessarily rules for it. It's just go off what you feel and your strategy, right? So that's the first thing you're gonna do. What's the energy of your guys' current conversation and interaction over the past few weeks or the prior time you saw them? All right, the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna want to ask yourself, okay, what would be the reasons, or what would be reasons that I would not approach her, right? This is gonna make you so much more socially aware, because there's gonna be lots of situations where you don't want to approach, right? If she's busy, if she's on her way to go to the restroom, if she's talking to the manager, if she's maybe if she has her headphones in, that's kind of debatable. But you want to look to her ears to at least see if her headphones in. Maybe she's on the phone with somebody. Maybe she's very stressed, and that could be a reason to approach, but it might not be, right? So you got to ask yourself, what are the reasons that you would not approach? I promise you that that's going to make you so much more socially aware, right? And over time, you're going to start building up ideas about this. You're going to get experiences where you're like, I shouldn't approach that time. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to get experience, and you're going to build that up, that repertoire up in your mind, okay? The third thing you want to do is that you want to have at least one thing you're going to say or do that's going to advance your guys' relationship. That could be anything. It could be a compliment. Come up with one compliment before you see her that you want to give her. It could be a question. It could be anything. It could be, like I'm saying, it goes back to the first question: what is the energy of your guys' current relationship? So maybe if last time you were a little bit more surfacey, maybe this time in your conversation, maybe this time you could be a little bit more intimate. Maybe ask her a question you were curious about her childhood or her family. Maybe you bought her a small gift. Maybe you want to say a joke. Maybe it's time to pull back and you're just gonna say hi and walk away. Maybe you've been going way too hard and you just gotta ignore her and walk by, or pretend like you're on the phone and walk by, just to get things to relax again. But like I'm saying, you gotta do at least one thing to advance your guys' interaction. Or maybe it's actually the day that you ask her on the date. Maybe everything has been going really well. Today's the day that you ask her out. Maybe that's the way that you bring things forward. Or maybe it's your day to ask her for her Instagram. But you just got to come with at least one thing to advance your guys' relationship, right? And it doesn't mean that, like I'm saying, it's always something active. Maybe it's something passive. like I'm saying, where you just walk by her and just give a little nod. It really all depends on the energy, right? So we got the first three things, right? What is the energy of the day? What are the reasons that you would not approach? And what is one thing you're gonna do to advance the relationship, okay? The fourth thing is, what are reasons to exit the conversation, right? Because these are gonna pop up as well. So it could be that she looks like she's really anxious that day, or maybe she really is in a hurry. Maybe she says, oh, my Uber's coming, and you say, oh, okay, have a nice day. It could really be anything. Maybe you realize that she's in the middle of a work project, or she's in the middle of homework. Maybe you realize that she's on the phone. So you got to come up with all your reasons to exit, and those are the more obvious ones, but it could even be it could even be more complex than that. It could be a number of things, and you don't know. Maybe you catch her shopping in the feminine products section of the grocery store, and you don't want her to be embarrassed, so you just leave. You know what I'm saying? It could be complicated, but those are, that's your fourth thing. What are the reasons to exit the interaction, right? If you can do those four things, you're gonna be so much more socially aware, and you're gonna build these up, right? Through experience. Over time, you'll realize all the reasons to exit the conversation when it's time. You'll realize how to advance, and you'll realize how to tie that in with the current energy of of your guys' relationship. Whether she's very receptive to you, or whether she's less receptive to you. If she has high attraction to you or low attraction, you're gonna learn how to balance things. If she has really low attraction, maybe you got to be a little bit more chill, and then cut the conversation short and leave, right? Because you don't know where you're at, right? And I mean, you got to pay attention to where you're at and her interest level. Yeah. I'm gonna just recap one more time. What is the current energy of your guys' relationship or interaction? What are the reasons that you would not approach? What's one thing you're gonna do to advance the relationship that day? And what are the reasons to exit the conversation? If you can do those four things and you can master that, among other things, learning how to dress better, just working on yourself, knowing yourself. Yeah. Oh, the other thing I would say, there's actually one last thing or a bonus point that I'll make, is that you have to be prepared for her to bring up something that you're unconfident about. Like that's what I do. Before I go into a conversation, I rehearse. I ask myself, what am I feeling unconfident about that day, right? And then I prepare for that to be noticed or talked about. Like, for example, if I'm in the city, or maybe let's say I show up somewhere and I'm alone, I'm not with my friends. Sometimes I feel self-conscious being alone, so I rehearse that in my head. Okay, if she asks me why I'm alone, if she asks me that my friend, or where are my friends, I'm not gonna panic. I rehearse that in my head. Like, okay, if she says this, stay stoic, it's okay, and have a response. Oh no, my friends aren't here, hung out with them earlier, I'm just spending some time alone. You know what I'm saying? You got to rehearse those things that you're unconfident about, and that's in general, right? There's going to be tons of things in your life that you're not confident about. It could be your hobbies, it could be your income, it could be anything, but you need to prepare mentally to be confident about those things, at least in that time being. At least you can be confident about it for 5 minutes, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you're not gonna know how to react, and you're not used to being confident about things that you haven't practiced. Like, let's say you like to play Yu-Gi-Oh and watch anime. You know what I'm saying? Some dudes are gonna be really self-conscious about that, right? So before you go into your interaction, you gotta rehearse. Okay, all right, I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I watch anime. All right, so if she brings up my hobbies, I'm gonna tell her that I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And watch anime, and I'm gonna be stoic about it. I'm not gonna allow myself to panic. So that's the fourth thing, or the fifth thing. What are the things that you're insecure about? Rehearse it in your head so that you can visualize yourself being stoic and actually carry that out and being semi-confident about it. All right, have a good one, y'all. Follow this advice. I promise you're gonna be way more socially aware if you just keep practicing that and building those 5 things up. All right, take care, y'all. Have a good night.